Alyx, tell us how you are the writer and director and the actress of Talking Heads. Tell us a little bit about how this film came about.
Absolutely. I had been an actor for a long time in Toronto, and I was kind of starting to feel frustrated with the industry and with what was happening, so I decided to make my own short film. This was a pretty intense experience because I'd never directed before, and I had never written anything for film. I have a background in theater, so I kind of like jumped into it and started building a team and really finding out what it would take to make a movie as a director. So it was quite a learning experience, but really quite thrilling.
I've talked to plenty of directors here at Blood in the Snow, and some of their films don't have any dialogue. And so, tell us from your perspective how important the sound is in your film, because there is no dialogue in your film.
Yeah, it really takes us on a journey. I wanted to focus on the cinematic elements. I'm letting the story be told through all of these visual aspects and playing with the sound to create almost a cartoonish animated world that would give us some distance to look at the subject matter and experience it without having a dialogue kind of click on that part of our brain that takes us away from the experience.
Was that a big challenge for you?
It was. I was really lucky to work with some really amazing sound designers. Brendan Mercer from Tattersall Sound and Picture, he came on board and built almost all of the sounds, the Foley stuff that you hear. And then Gord Hyland, who's a jazz musician, he worked with his band to create a musical score for us that would really add tension and build us to this horror moment.
So you've stepped up here in the game, in the film industry, and there's a lot of film festivals here that focus on women directors and the support of women directors. Can you tell us what still needs to be done in terms of the future of women directors?
Absolutely. I think a lot of great things are happening in Toronto, and the pendulum is slowly swinging. I hope that it finds a healthy balance. I think it'll take time, but I think it's on the way. Telefilm has made some really great changes, and a lot of people are really fighting for female directors. The great thing about what I chose to do is that I didn't want to have an all-female film crew. I want to try and find some kind of balance, and so I sought out working with as many women as I could, and chose to hire a female DP, and all of those positions that I could, and yet I still was like, okay, if I need a man, I'm gonna, my AD ended up being my partner, and he was the right person for the job. And even in post, I wasn't able to find all of the women that I wanted to work with, but I had men come on board that really believed in the project and believed in me and was able to find a healthy balance. And I think that's kind of what I'm after, is that healthy balance of women working with men and men working with women. Whereas right now, I think the challenge is it is such a male-dominated industry, and there's a lot of miscommunication about how a woman works and how they want to create a space to work when it's been such a military-based industry and an approach to getting things done, and how it'll take time for people to see that maybe there's another way to create space for creativity to happen and for those people to be nurtured but still get things done and trust that other people can do the job even if they're not really a slave driver or something like that.
What would you say to the up-and-coming directors or up-and-coming filmmakers, and what sort of advice would you shed towards them?
Make things. Just start making things. Whenever I can, I have my camera and I'm shooting friends. I'm learning about framing. I've got my iPhone and I'm filming the dog at the beach, because the only way that I'm going to become a better director is if I'm participating in the creation process. And learning about how to use Adobe, how to use After Effects, all of those elements to really build my wheelhouse. And finding a story that's important to you to tell, and trusting that that's the weird story you want to tell. I wanted to tell a story about a young woman who ends up cutting off her head. That was my weird thing that came out of me, and really trusting that when you get inspired and you hear a little story and it starts, becoming a daydream and becoming even bigger, follow that and trust that. I think it's hard in Canada because a lot of people start making things that they can sell. And I'd say, don't worry about selling. Like, you can find an audience on YouTube, and you can find an audience at a short film festival, at a horror festival. Make things that you're passionate about, that aren't the end goal of, this will get me a job directing. Because then you can find your community, and that's really what Toronto has shown me, that there is a community here, and people want to say yes to interesting projects. You just have to be able to take the time, lock yourself in a room, and do the hard work of writing it, of planning it, of dreaming it.
Yeah, learning Adobe is pretty difficult.
God.
You gotta learn. You gotta learn that. Oh, I know. So, how does it feel to be here at Blood in the Snow? In your film here.
I feel so much gratitude. I mean, you spend a lot of time slogging away in the industry, and to feel that there's a community here, and that Blood in the Snow has kind of picked not only Talking Heads, but the feature film I got to act in. It feels like a lot of hard work is starting to kind of pay off, and that I'm finding a new side of Toronto. Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much for your time, and congratulations on your film, and good luck with your film here at Blood in the Snow.
I can't wait to see all of the other films. There's some really wicked things happening here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you.